Kasakai Mumbai. Kasakai TEDsters. That's what you all are. Very good. That's what we like to see. Okay, so let's start the ball rolling. What I want to talk about incubation cities is what makes an incubation city. And, you know, I should say, aapse milke bahut khushi hui. But let me just say this. Why incubation cities are so important. The first one I want to show you is San Francisco and Silicon Valley, just 30 kilometers from San Francisco. There are 7 rules that make an incubation city. And what are the rules that make an incubation city? Well, here they are. Number 1, you have to have talent. You have to be able to develop talent, find talent, grow talent, and bring talent in. Talent can be coding, design, thinking, creativity, creative industry thinking. Talent. Talent is what drives it, and you don't necessarily have to have a degree. Mark Zuckerberg, 28, worth $30 billion nearly, doesn't have a degree. So talent, very important. Number 2, you need a comprehensive research university. Mumbai has got many universities. In fact, not only Mumbai, but most cities in India have got good comprehensive research facilities. Very important, a key rule. Number 3, you need finance, funding, or VCs that can help grow, fertilize, and develop incubation cities. Number 4, you need to have collaboration and partnerships, partners. If you take a city like Bangalore, where there's a lot of collaboration between people across different areas. Number 5, you need to be pointing what you're doing to have customers, either customers today or customers in the future. Number 6, you've got to have what are called exit opportunities. If you're building something, you've got to build it so that you can have a way of either selling an interest in the company, selling the company, like the 2 young fellows from India last week that sold their company to, was it Google for $200 million? Apple, that's correct. Apple, I was thinking of another company previously to Google, but you're quite correct. 2 young men went to Silicon Valley, sold it for $200 million, and they are now buying the top 3 floors of Ambani's residence right here in Mumbai. Maybe. You never know. And finally, the most important, number 7, the 7th rule of making an incubation city, you have to have a strong electronic dance music scene with DJs. Because geeks and techies and disruptors love dance music and love clubbing. And it's not just Bollywood dancing, it's the new kind of electronic dance music. Okay, so let's have a look at what are some interesting incubation cities. Of course, San Francisco has all the 7 rules. London, David Cameron is a big believer, putting a lot of money, effort, and talent into London as an incubation city. London is now called Silicon Roundabout, like a roundabout, a circle in traffic, where there's a lot of encouragement to develop young companies. And London has always been a good development hub. People can come in. Talented people don't have immigration problems other than people from India, and that is changing. That is changing. I spoke to someone in David Cameron's office. I said, you know, this is not right. It takes so long for someone from India who is really talented to come to Silicon Alley. Get it together. Tell David he's got to get his act together. He said, we realize this. We've just changed things for the Chinese. I said, forget about the Chinese. India's much more important. That's what I feel. Of course. China, give me a break. So, okay, London. Let's go to the next one. Berlin. Now, what makes Berlin a good incubation city? It fulfills the 7 rules, and interestingly enough, it's the world center for electronic dance music. Cool. But, of course, research, great talent, and because Berlin is such a free city in terms of allowing people from all over Europe, all over the world, I've met a number of Indian entrepreneurs and young innovators that have actually based themselves in Berlin to very good effect. So that's a good incubation city, fulfills the 7 rules. Here's an interesting one. Who would have thought Cape Town, South Africa, look how beautiful it looks. See the football stadium, front right of that picture? Cape Town is now becoming a very important incubation city. Why? because one of the things people like in incubation cities is affordable places to live. But also, listen to this, Amazon and all of the work they do on the cloud in Amazon is all done in Cape Town. Google, all of their Africa development is done in Cape Town. It's a cool place. If you've never been to Cape Town, it's really worth going. It's a really cool place to go, and of course, very beautiful. That mountain in the background is Table Mountain. It's a flat mountain, and when the clouds come over it and just rest on top of the mountain, it's called the tablecloth on top of Table Mountain. It's where the late Nelson Mandela was actually imprisoned for 27 years in that region. And, of course, it's sad to see his recent demise. But nonetheless, Cape Town, very important incubation city. Okay, let's go to another one. Aha! This is an interesting one. Which territory in the world do you think develops and registers the most patents? Well, it's Silicon Valley. But which is number 2 in the world? It's Israel, believe it or not. Huge amount of innovation and incubation. And in fact, the picture you see on the left of that slide, Startup City, is a very successful book. Startup Nation, I beg your pardon, is a very, very important book talking about how this little country, 6 million people, a quarter of the size of Mumbai, is the second most important incubation, innovation, patent place in the world. And they like to see themselves as a startup nation because starting up something is a big deal. Okay. So now what about India? I was in Kolkata just the last few days, and of course Kolkata being the intellectual heart of India in many respects, although I think Mumbai is that. In fact, I think Bangalore is that, Hyderabad is that, Chennai is that, India is that. But what is happening in India? Well, there's a very interesting phenomenon because you're seeing cities of incubation and an incubation city, of course, but you're seeing an interesting new development because you're seeing incubation coming out on the outer edges. So how about this? If I had to say to you, I have found a place in Mumbai that for me, I see fulfilling the 7 rules of incubation cities, but also doing some really cool stuff. How many of you would think that the 2 places that I am going to tell you about today are, you ready for it? Your safety belts fastened? Vikhroli. Yeah. Vikhroli and Powai. How many of you live near Vikhroli or Powai? Okay, so one of India's greatest innovators and incubators is a gentleman by the name of Parmesh Shahani. He lives in Vikhroli. He runs a future lab and a culture lab, and he's doing something incredible in just a week's time where he's got a factory, 200,000 square feet in the middle of the mangroves in Vikhroli. He's got 110 collaborators working together, including people like Shilpa Gupta. He's got the world's biggest 3D art piece. On the 14th of December, next week, is this incredible event where 110 collaborators, incubators, innovators, all gathered together by Parmesh, are all coming together to do something really unique. It features artists, music, India's top beatboxers, people that make music with their mouth and their tongue, and really interesting, but it's all designed showing that this Vikhroli is now becoming a key incubation center. So when I think of Vikhroli or think of Powai, I think to myself, wow, kya item hai. So ladies and gentlemen, the 7 rules of incubation cities. You are all incubators. You are all innovators. So in the words of my great friend and also one of India's top incubators and innovators, Vishal Gondal, who has really shown what it takes to be a great innovator and incubator, all I want to say to you is this. If you incubate, a great thing happens. Ma kasam bahut baza aiga. Thank you.